Fiqh method is the summary of principles recognized by Shara to facilitate the reference process to a method of fiqh of Islamic principles. Most of scholars agree on 5 maxims that consider the pillars of Islamic fiqh, and one of them is Masyaqqah Tajlibu Taisir, which means hardship begets ease. Masyaqqah means hardship, where legal obligation will be lifted, while Taisir means facility. Literally, it means necessity to lighten burden. There are 3 types of hardship, which is tolerable hardship, intolerable hardship, and medium hardship.
I will explain about the identification issue in Masyaqqah Tajlibu Taisir. So first issue is about tawaf. Tawaf is mandatory pillar in Haji and Umrah. According to Mazhab Syafi'i, the people that want to perform tawaf must be pure or free from the hadas. This will be issue or problem to the woman that in menstruation period to complete the tawaf before return to Medina or return home. Okay, next is about the wudu daim hal hadas. According to Mazhab Syafi'i and Mazhab Maliki, daim hal hadas is the person who always in hadas condition because of something out from kubul and dubul. The person that had to face da'i hal hadas had to face the problem such as the person that had problem with urinary istihadah and others. This is because they had to face the issue to perform the ibadah because of cleanliness and wudu.
Next issue is buy salam contract. Buy salam is a buy and sell transaction where the prepayment is given to the seller for the provision of the goods in the day. There are 4 pillars in buy salam. The first pillar is party that is engaged. The buyer submit the goods to obtain the desired item, while the seller is the individual who receives the money as a payment. The second pillar is sirah, ijab and kabul. Ijab is an offer, while kabul is an acceptance. The seller offer something at a certain price, and the buyer receives the price. The third pillar is capital. Capital is a payment that the buyer takes preceding to the seller. Finally, the last pillar is the good that is reserved. It is good sold in the contract, and the seller promises to submit to the buyer in return to the paid capital. The last issue is buy al-istisna. Buy al-istisna is a kind of sale in which a commodity is transacted before it comes to existence. Therefore, the requirement of istisna to be fulfilled must be valid. First, the object to be produced must be determined clearly in terms of type, quality, and quantity. Second, istisna should be the object that must be made or constructed and improper seller make the goods. It's not permissible to do istisna contract on an existing and identified asset. Not only that, the price in istisna contract must be known at the time of contract implementation. The price cannot be unilaterally increased or decreased once it's settled in istisna contract. Istisna contract may suspend the entire price or pay in installment within the stipulated period. The contract of istisna is not binding on the parties as long as the manufacturer does not start work. The place of delivery of istisna goods must be specific if it needs loading or manufacturing expenses. The last of requirement is the delivery of istisna goods may take place through constructive possession by enabling the purchaser to take control over the subject matter.
Explanation and analysis. For the first issue about tawaf, the condition when performance the tawaf is wajib close the aura and clear from the hadas and impurity and so on. In the problem with the tawaf is out from the hadas and impurity as like menstruation period. Menstruation periods do not prevent women for performance or role in ibadah. Umrah, haji, expect in tawaf in the Baitul Mal. Mazhab Syafi'i, blood that comes out of the 50 day and 50 night. Nabi Muhammad SAW say, menstruation is condition that's good, distinct from other daughter. Just do the jemaah just don't do the tawaf in the altar. Next issue about wuduk dan hal-hadas. Wuduk dan hal-hadas, detail explain for condition or requirement to pray, tawaf and so on. Who are clear requirement must be clear himself with meanings proscribed by Allah before pray or ibadah to Allah. Important objective for Syariat law. Al-Shafari explain for version 185, Allah want to be easy and He don't want to be suffer. In hadith Abu Hurairah by Bukhari, in that Muhammad, you are the son of easy and harm. Tie a hadas, small hadas and big hadas. Mazhab Syafi'i, all those who come from roh, kubu and lubu is will remove the clear before ibadah.
The next issue is about Bai As-Salam and Bai Al-Itisna. Bai As-Salam music in financial and banking systems. It's a basic needs of doing everyday life for us nowadays because we live in a modern technology. First, for Bai Al-Itisna, it's a kind of sale in which is a commodity transacted before it's come into existence. The advantage of Al-Itisna is can provide flexibility to the customer for doing business. The scholar divide Masyaqqah into three parts. First, Al-Masyaqqah Al-Azimah, Al-Masyaqqah Al-Mutawasitah, Al-Masyaqqah Al-Khafifah. From another view, the Islamic law is a human life. There are responsibility that is also a form of musyaqqah. For example, the obligations to seek sustenance is not a musyaqqah to them, as it is a claim that is not considered of musyaqqah, but it is not a burden of humankind, but is a necessity as a human being.
Solution to the issue. First, the issue of tawaf among women who are in the method of furuk under Masyaqqah Tajlibu Taisir states that when the things becomes narrow, the law becomes broad. This method implies that in the event of difficulties to doing something, it is permissible to take rukhsah. In this case, the woman can perform tawaf in Fatra Nakok phase it is almost time to leave Mecca or return home. However, if the woman still has a long time to stay in Mecca, she is advised to wait until her hajj is over and perform tawaf again. The next issue is wuduk daim hadas. According to Syafi'i Mazhab, a person who is always in hadas must take wuduk whenever he or she want perform solat fardu, but may use the same wuduk to perform several solat sunnah. There are something that the person who always in a hadas should do. First, he or she need to clean the najis and the place who have najis and keep them with curtain. Second, the person must take wudu every time he or she want to pray. From Aisyah radhiyallahu anha, Fatimah binti Hubaysh came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked, "I'm a woman in istihadah, so I'm not holy. Can I leave a prayer?" He said, "No, you should leave the prayers on the days of your haid and then take a bath and wudu every time you pray, even with a drop of blood on the mat."
Bay Asalam transactions, the payment should be made immediately, but the delivery of the goods will be made in future. The buyer can buy the goods with cheaper price, so he can make profit by selling the goods after its delivery. Islamic Bank also make another contract, which is known as a parallel salam contract, with another buyer to sell the goods it is going to buy in future. We can see the evidence from justification derived from the Al-Quran, but good had permitted trade and forbidden usury, and all believers, when you contract a debt for a fixed term, you should put in a writing. Other than that, from Ibn Abbas, interpret the contract as a contract of Bay Salam, in which the payment of the price from but the delivery of goods is deferred. Lastly, the justification from the Sunnah that the opposite of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has forbidden the sale of everything which is not in the possessions of the vendor, but he makes an exception in the case of Bay Salam contracts. Another solution of istighna divided by 4 categories. Firstly, the subject matter to be manufactured must be identified. Second, must be goods but don't exist at the time of contract. Thirdly, the manufacturer undertakes to contract of the goods with his or her own material. And lastly, the price of the subject matter of istighna is known at the time, but may differ or paid in installment. According to the jurists, the legality on a istighna contract is established from different legals such as the Sunnah, Ijma', Qiyas, and Ihtisan. There is no difference of opinion on its permissibility. The istighna contract is legitimate on the basis of the pupil's customary practice without any objections.
Islam does not burden people with something they cannot do and something that burden them with things that are beyond their control. Islam provides people with justice and in accordance with their instinct and habit. The Masyaqqah Tajlibu and Taisir method is a method which means that it is difficult to make it easy or difficult to bring about the convenience of Muslims on this earth. Thus, the Sharia is it so that Muslims in certain situations or circumstances could apply and enforce the law without difficulty. This method shows that Islam and its law are deeply concerned about human interests regardless of religion, race, and descent, and that they deny the harm and damage that can and will happen. All laws that have been decided upon by Sharia are not only intended to prevent harm, which is one of the main purposes of why Islamic law is brought by Allah SWT on this earth.